The sharp crash of shattering glass sent a jolt through the Fresh Mart grocery store. A display shelf near the self-checkout lanes had toppled, scattering cans and snack packs across the gleaming tile floor. Metal clanged against tile, and a startled gasp rippled through the aisles. Someone screamed. Heads turned. Carts rolled to halts. It was a Saturday morning in Delridge, a quiet suburb in Virginia, known more for its antique fairs and family parks than chaos at the local grocery. Yet the tension thickened like storm clouds as shoppers peered over their carts toward the noise. Near checkout lane 7, a man in civilian clothes, early 40s, with a crew cut and fire in his eyes, had one hand resting on the grip of his holstered sidearm. His voice cut through the air like a blade. "Step aside. Police business." Officer Craig Dawson's tone wasn't just loud, it was laced with threat. People around him flinched, some backing away, others frozen with uncertainty. Just 10 feet away, a tall black man in a dark gray polo shirt and khaki slacks froze mid-step. He had been pushing a half-full cart toward the checkout, a paper list still clutched in one hand. "Hey you," Dawson snapped, stepping forward. "What are you doing here?" The man slowly turned. At 58, Anthony Tony Maddox carried himself with an effortless presence, broad-shouldered, well-groomed, and calm, even under pressure. His salt and pepper hair was trimmed to military regulation, and the deep creases on his face spoke of decades of hard-earned wisdom. "I'm buying groceries," Maddox said evenly. "Same as everyone else." Dawson scoffed. "Is that so? You sure you're not trying to sneak something out?" The officer's hand shifted on his holster, fingers drumming lightly on the grip. Shoppers began murmuring. A mother yanked her child behind her, shielding him instinctively. A cashier stopped mid-scan, frozen as if caught in a dream. A teenage boy pulled out his phone and started recording. Maddox remained composed. He reached slowly into his back pocket and pulled out a receipt, holding it up. "I paid for everything," he said. "It's all here." Dawson didn't budge. "We'll see about that. Step aside. Hands where I can see them." The moment tightened. The stillness in the store was suffocating now. Even the background music had stopped, like the speakers themselves knew something had gone horribly wrong. The security guard by the exit shifted uneasily, uncertain whether to intervene or vanish. Beads of sweat trickled down the cashier's temple. "Don't make me ask twice," Dawson growled, now reaching for his weapon. Maddox inhaled through his nose. In his 32 years of military service, including deployments to Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kosovo, had stared down worse threats. But he recognized this type of man. He'd seen the look in Dawson's eyes too many times, overseas jittery, untrained dominance hiding behind authority. The kind of man who acted first and justified later. Any wrong move could be fatal. "I'm not a threat," Maddox said softly, raising both hands to chest level. "I'm retired military. I have no weapons. You're making a mistake." "That's for me to decide," Dawson snapped. "Turn around." Maddox didn't move. His jaw clenched. The boy recording now stood on a freezer bin to get a better view. Behind him, someone whispered, "He's not even doing anything. Why is he targeting him?" A few feet away, a child clutched her mother's skirt. "Mommy, is the man going to get hurt?" the girl whispered. Dawson's radio crackled to life. "Dispatch, I've got a suspicious individual at Fresh Mart. Male, black, late 50s, muscular build, possibly armed. Requesting immediate backup." Maddox's blood ran cold. "Possibly armed?" The words echoed like a shot in his head. That was a lion worse. It was a deadly one. He knew the script. A cop reports a possibly armed black man. Backup arrives, adrenaline surges, and in the chaos, bullets fly. He had led troops through urban war zones with more discipline than what stood in front of him now. A balding manager wearing a red Fresh Mart vest rushed over, panting. "Officer, serious, there a problem here?" Dawson didn't look at him. "I'll ask the questions. This man looks suspicious. Could be stealing." "Already told you," Maddox began, but Dawson cut him off. "I don't need your explanation. I need compliance. Phones are out everywhere now." Nearly 24 customers recorded. A girl whispered, "Wait, is that who I think it is?" Her mother leaned in, squinting. Isn't he the guy from the Medal of Honor ceremony? Before Dawson could respond, a voice-deep, commanding slice through the tension. That man is General Anthony Maddox, United States Army. You're making a damn mistake. All heads turned. A tall man in a tailored black suit strode into the store, trailed by two uniformed military police officers. His steps were deliberate, his presence immediately felt. Silver stars gleamed on his lapels. It was General Raymond Holbrook, a former NATO commander and Maddox's longtime peer. Dawson turned pale. What? He stammered. Holbrook's eyes locked on him with righteous fury. Badge number. Now. Dawson stuttered. Sir, I was just... Your badge number. Speak it out loud. Dawson muttered it under his breath. Behind him, the security guard took a cautious step back. Outside, the faint sound of sirens grew louder. Police backup had arrived. 3 patrol cars screeched to a halt in the parking lot. Officers spilled out, hands hovering over holsters. One officer, Sergeant Penner, scanned the store with confusion. What's going on? Holbrook spoke before anyone else could. This officer falsely accused a decorated veteran of theft, and then escalated into what could have been a fatal confrontation. Sergeant Penner's eyes widened. Wait, is that really General Maddox? That's right, Holbrook said coldly. And your officer here just called him possibly armed while reaching for his weapon. Murmurs swirled among the responding officers. One turned to Dawson. Craig, are you sure about this? Dawson's confidence faltered. It was. He was buying groceries. The store manager interjected. I checked the cameras already. Everything's on tape. He paid for all of it. He did nothing wrong. The silence was thick as cement. Then, this is exactly why nobody trusts you people anymore, someone muttered from behind the dairy section. The 2 military police officers stepped forward. One held cuffs. Officer Dawson, you're being placed under arrest for false reporting and endangering a civilian. You can't arrest me. Dawson protested, backing up. I'm a cop. Not anymore, a new voice said from the entrance. Police Chief Karen Langston walked in, holding her phone. Her face was set in stone. I've been watching the live stream for the last 15 minutes. Badge and weapon. Now. Dawson stood frozen, jaw clenched. I said now. With shaking hands, Dawson removed his badge and service weapon, placing them in the outstretched hands of a fellow officer. You're making a mistake, he whispered bitterly. Maddox finally spoke again. No, officer. You made the mistake. You thought you could abuse your power in front of people who wouldn't stand up. Not today. As Dawson was led away in cuffs, his own backup, now escorting in the store, erupted in murmurs. Some customers clapped. Others stood silently, recording as the officer disappeared into a waiting squad car. The next morning, headlines dominated national news. Black War hero detained by local cop while grocery shopping. General Maddox incident sparks national debate on racial profiling and police power. Caught on camera. Officer arrested for false claim against Medal of Honor recipient. The video spread like wildfire. Media outlets replayed the footage on loop. Civil rights groups issued statements. Hashtags trended. Politicians weighed in. For once, the story wasn't buried. It was unavoidable. 2 days later, Maddox stood before a bank of microphones outside Arlington Memorial Hall. The press waited. This isn't about me, he began, voice calm but firm. It's about accountability. About a system that allows some officers to act without fear of consequence. That ends now. He paused. I've faced enemies on the battlefield, but the greatest threat to democracy isn't always overseas. Sometimes it wears a badge. Sometimes it's silence. Those words echoed across television screens and social media feeds. Within weeks, policy reform discussions reignited in state houses. The Delridge Police Department launched an internal review. Dawson's arrest became a turning point. He faded into obscurity, a cautionary tale. But Maddox didn't disappear. He became a quiet force in the national conversation on justice. He joined advisory boards, helped draft legislation focused on accountability, and spoke with law enforcement leaders across the country. Not to destroy them, but to make them better. Because to General Anthony Maddox, the fight was never personal. It was principled. And the real war, he knew, wasn't just fought in deserts or jungles. It was fought in supermarkets, in traffic stops, in silent moments when courage meant standing firm while someone else reached for a gun. And in those moments, he still stood tall, as a soldier, as a citizen, and as a man who knew that true honor doesn't need applause, it needs action.